bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored and I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored. Bored in the house, bored in the house bored. Bored in the house, bored in the house bored. Bored in the house and I'm in the house bored and I'm bored in the house and I'm in the house bored.
Hello again, everybody, and welcome to episode 2 of the Pulsate Podcast. I am Britt.
I'm Treen, and we're dance teachers at Pulsate Dance Force. And if you haven't seen our first episode we uploaded last week, make sure you check that out to see what we're about and what we're doing.
This week, Treen, we are talking about the benefits of dance and movement. And also we are going to have a very special guest joining us, nutrition coach Deanna Mawson, and she's going to talk about all things nutrition for not just our dancers, but for all of the general community that are watching us as well.
So for anybody out there that doesn't know what it's like to dance or why we dance, why we feel so good about it, and why we're so obsessed with it, it's because it has so many positive, healthy effects on the body and on the mind. So the positive effects that we see on our students is they gain better social skills, their confidence and self-esteem improves, their general psychological well-being improves, and of course my favorite one is that creative expression, where we all love to just have a dance in our lounge room and we all love to dance and sing in our car, and we're just putting that in a studio and training that and releasing it that little bit more.
And you do see that in classes as well. A lot of the time in our classes, we allow a little bit of free dance, even in the form of a game, to make it a little bit fun. And improvisation is a big thing we use as well. So for them to get that creative expression across in class with their friends, where they feel comfortable and safe and in that nurturing environment, going back to our core values, is a really beautiful thing to see, because you see what you normally wouldn't see in them just out in public on the street.
Exactly right.
But I think for me, a couple of the things that I love is that you get a lot of increased endurance, and it really assists in fine-tuning those motor skills for a lot of kids, because sometimes, not everybody has developed the same as everybody else. Everybody's very unique. But the way that dance is structured and the way the classes are structured, they get to learn things that aren't just for their mental capacity. They're not just learning and taking it in. It's using their body, using their voice, using their hands, especially with tots. Tots is a great time to start dancing, where they can learn all of those fine motor skills and things like that. Another thing that is always, it comes hand in hand with dance, is coordination and flexibility. So it's not always about flexibility. I'm a big advocate for that it's not always about being the most flexible dancer out there, but the way that it assists with people, even in their daily lives, gain core strength, coordination, just being able to, go right to left. It helps with netball and sports a lot. Yeah, and footy.
We have a lot of kids that are still working on their left and right, up to the age of like 10 years old. And like in my hip hop class, for example, we have a song specifically for our right and left, and they are improving with that. And it's, they go, oh, well, you do this, and you say one's left, and you say, but how do you do it quickly? Because when we're dancing, we can't do that. So yeah, trying to do those simple things in life for us, but teaching it to them through dance.
They do. They learn everything that is going to assist them, not just within becoming a dancer, because a lot of people don't want to be a dancer when they grow up, but it assists with everyday things that are going to help them grow and mature through life. So I think that's probably a lot of the reasons why we love and why we do what we do every day. There's so many, though. We could sit here for hours, couldn't we, Treen?
Yeah. I guess my favorite thing about it is the way it makes you feel inside. So I always talk about, with any of my classes, I'm talking about the feeling of it. And if it feels good, you're on the right track. And, leaving a class with a really clear headspace and just feeling really light after you leave a class. And then, of course, Britt touched on the physical things that help with our bodies. So, yeah, there's just so many aspects that dance does for us.
Yeah, and if you do ever want any more information about that or what we do, we are still taking inquiries for everything. You can email us. We'll put all our details in the bio below, and you can hit us up because we're hoping, fingers crossed, we come back for term 4.
Yeah, if everything goes back to plan, we'll be back in term 4 and reunited with the students and, taking on new students as well.
Beautiful. All right. So before we get Dee to jump on to talk all things nutrition with us, we did get a couple more questions this week, Miss Katrina. Our first one is from the beautiful Bridget Mawson. Hi, Bridget.
Bridget.
She has asked what our favourite dance style is.
Good question. Thanks, Bridget. I love a lot of styles, but I would have to say hip-hop is my absolute favourite. I also really love jazz and I really love contemporary as well. So, but yeah, hip-hop is like my thing. I love it so much.
You go to.
What about you, Miss Brittany?
Well, see, mine's probably a little bit different to what everybody's thinking in their brains.
Oh.
My favourite style is actually lyrical. I love to be expressive in that way. But a very close tie at the minute. A lot of you know I teach a lot of the younger acro classes, and I am currently very obsessed with acro and strength and all of that flexibility training that comes with the acrobatic arts that we do. So for me, I actually think a tie at the minute is between lyrical and acro.
Yeah, and the thing is, guys, like, it's a great question. All of the teachers are trained in everything. Yeah. So if Miss Brittany had to take one of my hip hop classes, she could. And if I've had to take ballet this term already, I can do that. So we kind of love all styles, but there's just music and styles that resonate with us like naturally. Yeah. So
yeah, exactly. Next one is from April. Hey, April. Favorite dance routine that we have performed in our 28 years of dance?
So hard, this question. I'm going to go again off feeling because that's just how I am. In the past 2 years, I had the opportunity to travel to Mexico and compete with the hip hop team Soul Fam, and the feeling of being on that stage and there's like people from different countries cheering for you and supporting you, and dancing with those incredibly insane dancers was awesome. That was a experience on stage I will never forget.
That's such
you, Britt?
Mine was, it is very hard, but I would probably have to say my favourite one so far is when I was in year 8, I believe, and we travelled to America with the dance school I was with at the time, and we performed at Disneyland and California Adventure in Anaheim. So that was just something, for somebody from a little town of Benalla. It's a big way to travel and to be able to do what you love overseas in front of all these visitors to the park. So yeah, that's probably my favourite.
That's super cool. And obviously we can't go past our teacher feature concert routines at the end.
They're always the best.
The Guardians one was so fun. Love dancing with the staff.
It's so fun. You can't.
Especially when Miss Tan opens it every single time. I love it. And I love cheering for each other on the side.
Love you, Tan.
Okay, next question. Miss Abby Quinn. Hey. She wants to know what we're currently watching on Netflix. Good question. What are you watching?
Well, look, I just finished it. I am obsessed with all things fancy, not in my personal life, but in my reality life. And I've been watching Selling Sunset for the pure fact of them selling multi-million-dollar homes that are just amazing. I mean, it's a plus that there's a little bit of drama because it's reality TV, But yeah, I just love looking at really, really expensive houses. I know, the life that I could lead but won't lead in the next 10 years. Let's just put that out there. So what about you, Miss Katrina?
I've been watching one on Netflix called Working Mums. It's a really easy watch, but it's very on and off. Like, I'm not addicted to it, but I have been watching an insane amount of YouTube. So I've been CrossFit, dance, bit of everything. Just chucking it on the TV. So YouTube's kind of my thing at the moment.
Love it. Thanks, Abby. For that.
Thanks, Abs.
And then do we have one more, Treen?
We do have one more from, the one and only, drum roll, Xavier.
Xavier
Mvmnt. The legend, the myth. He wants to know, what is your guilty pleasure during quarantine? This is a good question.
This is a really good question. And how funny that I instantly jumped to food when we've got Dee coming on in a sec to talk about nutrition. Because
you're not the only one. That's the
I'm
thing.
glad she's not going to hear this now, but she's going to hear it when she watches it, when we post it up. But my guilty pleasure is mee goreng with fried egg on top. Like, I'm talking the noodles, the mee goreng noodles with the oil and the fried onions, and
I haven't had those in years.
Look, they
make you really thirsty after.
They make you so thirsty. I love it. But that is my go-to. I'm not feeling great, so I'm gonna have some mee goreng. That's mine. So thank you, Xavier. Try it with a fried egg. You'll be living your life.
Love it. I'm not like guilty about it, but it's kind of like this thing where I have to dip biscuits in a coffee. Like just before the podcast, that's what I was doing. So I'll have my morning coffee, but I have to get like either the teddy bear biscuits or the Scotch, what are they called?
Scotch biscuits.
And I've got to dip. And I honestly sometimes lose count of how many I do. So that's probably the part I'm guilty of. So,
Sorry,
dipping biscuits.
Back.
Call the cops.
Call the police. Take me away.
Please, I'm dipping.
Thank you, Xavier. That was a very good question.
Thanks again for your questions this week, guys. We're going to move on to our next section, which is our guest speaker for today, Dee Mawson. She's jumping on with us now.
Woo! Hello, Dee. How are you today?
Good. How are you?
Yeah, good. Just relaxing, aren't we, Treen?
Yeah, chilling out.
Enjoying our days at home. What have you been up to?
I missed the memo on the pyjamas.
Yeah, the matching PJs. Thanks, Kmart.
Kmart, sponsor us.
I would have had to come into work with mine on, so that would have been a bit awkward.
They would have loved it.
Yeah.
Well, we're getting you on today because we're just going to have a chat to you about a few things for our dancers about nutrition and being healthy. But before we jump into that, we would like for you to tell us just a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Yep. So I'm a nutrition coach. I'm also a CrossFit coach and personal trainer at Tribe Mvmnt. But primarily I've sort of moved over into a full-time role as an online nutrition coach and coaching people one-on-one on one-on-one consults. My job is mostly done online, so I coach people from anywhere in the world, I suppose, or Australia, that want help with their nutrition and accountability. So rather than just a one-off, they get ongoing assistance and support through messaging and help with like little roadblocks that we run into in the middle of the night, or when we're raiding the cupboard at 10 p.m. You want to have a debrief with a coach and be told that it's all okay and that I don't know what to eat now and that sort of thing. So having that person on that person. So providing that remote coaching via message and this app that we run, education and support with eating, really.
Awesome.
Yeah.
A lot of our dancers spend hours on end at the studio for many nights of the week, and long hours all weekend at dance competitions. What are some healthy recommendations for their dance bags to keep them going?
Yeah. So a really big thing is people often ask me, what can I snack on that's healthy? I keep snacking all the time. What's healthy snacks? But first, we've got to step back and look at what we're eating in our main meals first. So it's not about the snacks being enough. It's about, is your lunch, your dinner, or your breakfast enough? Then you won't feel like you need to continually snack. So taking it back to making sure, and I know people bang on about this, but breakfast is super important. Some people skip breakfast as a means to try and restrict their calories for the day. It doesn't work, because what happens is we get to lunch and we're beautiful, I haven't eaten yet, beautiful. And I make a chicken salad for lunch, I'm still hungry, thinking about the next thing I'm going to eat. Come to 3 p.m, bam, there goes the pantry. We've raided it because our hunger has built up over the day and our appetite is there still. So making sure breakfast, they've had breakfast that day of comp or their school day, making sure they've got a really nice big lunch. So big lunch, I don't mean just a sandwich with a couple of pieces of ham in it. I'm talking a big chicken breast or leftover taco mince from the night before, or a heap of ham or turkey from the deli in a couple of low carb wraps or something like that, full of salad. So making sure those meals are nice and nutritious. And then when at night, so they're going to need another meal probably, because these guys, actually burning a lot of calories. They need a lot of food. But the problem is they're getting their food from lots of little packets of things that have a lot of calories in them, like chocolates and lollies and biscuits and things like that, that don't take up any room in their tummy. So they're just eating it and they're going, that did nothing, I want to eat more. And that's standard across the board with adults as well.
Yeah.
So they could have another bowl of tuna and rice, or rice cakes with ham and cheese on them, or something substantial rather than just little snacky things in a packet. And that's, people don't want to hear that because that's harder. It's harder to prepare. You have to think about it from home. It's not sitting in the cupboard in a packet, but that is what is needed.
I think too, like when we have kids that are in a rehearsal for 8 hours and we give them a quick 15-minute breaks here and there and they're trying to scoff lollies and things like that. Yeah. I think that would be really helpful to maybe replace some things as well.
Yeah, like a chicken wrap with a heap of salad, nice mayo, chicken breast or something like that, or any leftover meat from the night before in the house, ham, turkey, like I said, in a sandwich or wrap, but make sure there's a decent amount of meat in there, eggs, egg cups, things like that. It needs to be a meal, because what the lollies do is gives them a quick fix, and then half an hour later they're starving again because they've burnt that energy and there's no protein there to keep them full for longer through the day.
So, other than being at the studio and dancing for long hours, at the moment, we can't do that. So we're all sitting at home on restrictions and in isolation. And that means a lot of us are finding things at home to fill in the day and fill in the gaps with. A lot of the time is with snacking, as we were talking about before. But we want to know what your best tip is to avoid boredom snacking.
Yep. It's definitely a standard thing across the board, and I am definitely get stuck in that hole sometimes as well and find myself in the cupboard looking for something. Firstly, we want to make sure that we're not actually hungry. So if we are hungry, we need to eat. We need to honour that. And if we are hungry, we need to honour that with something that's going to be filling and nutritious. So going back to what I said before, making sure you've got a beautiful big breakfast. You've got to have a big lunch, because what happens is if we don't eat, we build up that hunger and then we break because we can't hold on to it all day. If we're sitting there eating a boring chicken salad or broccoli and rice and you're thinking about the next thing you're going to eat, that lunch is not good enough. So your meals need to be beautiful and yummy and nutritious. So make them yummy. Make them flavoursome, so nice dressings and sauces and a yummy meat and a salad or in wraps or toasty or whatever, but make sure you're enjoying those meals. Otherwise, you're going to be looking for the next snack and then the afternoon's gone because you're just going to be continually looking for that hit, I suppose. Making sure your meals are yummy. Find the time that you are the most picky, right? If that's 4 o'clock and you know that it's not dinner time, you've had lunch, that's okay to have a snack there. So honour that again. It's not bad to snack, but pick your time when you're going to have a snack and plan it like a meal. get stuff out of the cupboard, have some 10 cicada rice cakes, some tzatziki dip, handful of ham, or and a heap of veggie sticks and some popcorn. So that's a really nice little plate. I call it my party plate, and I sit down and I actually enjoy it.
Yep.
Because have you seen that meme on Facebook that I have 10 snacks while I'm deciding what I'm going to snack on?
Yeah, it's so true.
Yeah. So plan it, get it all out, put it on a plate, sit down, enjoy that snack. There's these really cool chocolate protein bars at the supermarket, the bar counters, the Fiber One bars. They're little chocolatey. There's carrot cake one, lemon drizzle one. They're low calorie. Have them with some dip and biscuits and things like that. So plan in a snack. Don't avoid it. Actually have one. Thirdly, avoidance. It's very big of us to say try and avoid snacking. Go for a walk. Call a friend. No one's going to avoid snacking. If you want to go to that cupboard, you're going to go to that cupboard. So we want to control it by planning in that snack. Yeah. You could eat dinner earlier. Ever eaten dinner at 5:30 p.m.? I have. Just avoid snacking. So you might want to start prepping dinner. That's something I sort of do. Or I use things like no sugar Coke or no sugar cordials with soda water if I know that I've already eaten. So I do the hunger questionnaire, which is really good. Am I hungry? Have I just eaten? Am I about to eat? If I haven't just eaten, yeah, I might be hungry, so I'll eat. If I'm about to eat, I can push through and have like a Coke or something like that, or a cordial. But if I haven't just eaten and I actually truly am hungry, that's when I'll eat. These are all ideal scenarios too. Trust me, it doesn't work all the time. And sometimes you find yourself smashing out a white bread peanut butter sandwich. That's amazing. So if you do that, you eat it and you move on, and your next meal is back on track.
Yeah.
It's very normal, and we all do it. Trust me.
Definitely. So my last question for you, Dee, is during this round of restrictions, what are you offering as a service?
Yeah, so the gym is actually closed. However, with the government restrictions, we're allowed to train people outside in a one-on-one capacity or a two-on-one capacity, as long as we adhere to social distancing. So we have 5 personal trainers that can take on clients, male and female, and we've got an outdoor setup with a bit of covering over it, so we can train you once per week, twice per week, however many times. If you find that working out at home does not suit you, or you've learnt from last ISO that you need a bit more of accountability, we've had a lot of people just jump on for one session a week just to have that coach contact, set them up for the week. And then other days I might do a couple of sessions at home. So we're doing one-on-one personal training. I'm doing one-off nutrition consults and body scans if people want a bit of a rejig or setup of macros and a bit of education. I'm doing that, and I'm also taking, I've got a couple of spots left, nutrition coaching online. So, yeah.
Awesome. That sounds amazing. And Britt and I actually do the PTs at Tribe, for anyone that doesn't know, and I have done Dee's nutrition program. It's really educational. Lots of things that you thought you knew and it changes your mindset a little bit on everything. So that's awesome. It'd be a really good time for people to take their nutrition a bit more seriously.
My goal as a nutrition coach is to change young women's thought process around dieting and providing them with education and tools so that they can, fix and provide them with sustainable habits for their life, really. I like to say, if I took the scales off you right now and you never got on them ever again, that's when I'd be happy, and you'd be able to measure your progress in so many different ways, in how you look, how you feel, your mental health, your energy levels, your relationship with food. So that's my biggest goal, is to remove that tie to the scales for women, young women.
Yeah, I agree.
So good. So awesome.
What I do is, when I think about what I want to plan for a meal, right, I think, what do I want to eat? Right, I want burgers. So, okay, how can I make those healthy? So I get a lean burger, not a fatty one. I find low-carb burger thins, the Tip Top burger thins. I get that plastic cheese that's low fat, get some pickles and some mustard, and I make 2 burgers, and that's so doable. Or if I feel like Mexican, I'll make up some lean taco mints and put them on sweet potato chips or something like that. And I use Greek yogurt instead of sour cream, and then I fill it up with salad. So the key is finding those food swaps that are lower in calories so you can still have the yummy meals. That's what
you're all about those food swaps.
I know.
You need to make a macro, like D-macro recipe book, or like an ebook, or
yes,
what you call it.
Funny you say that.
Because
I've got lots of people telling me to do that, and I'm on page 2 at the moment of creating it.
so good.
I'm such a perfectionist that it's taking me longer than I want. So I have to organise it. But
I think something like that would take a really long time.
Yeah.
But it seems like from your Instagram, people are really looking at your recipes and loving them, and like, you know, trying it out themselves, which is really cool.
And I think what's they like about it is that it's real food and looks yummy.
Yeah.
Can't all be on a diet and eat chicken, broccoli and rice. You know, we want to have a burger. We want to have homemade pizzas. We want Mexican. We want souvlaki's. We want to know how we can have those foods for life. You know, loaded fries.
Yeah.
Better get onto those.
Oh, there was a night.
We did them, didn't we?
Yeah, there was a night when we were like, oh, did you see Dee's post? And I think it was sweet potato nachos or something like that. So we attempted them and it was really good.
Oh, awesome.
It was so good.
Oh, thank you so much for joining us today. I think our dancers and any other viewers would have got so much from that. I know that Britt and I did, as we're sitting here nodding our heads. So thank you. I'm sure you could talk all day, but you gave us a lot of insight in that small amount of time. So we will see you very soon. Thanks for jumping on.
Thanks for having me. I love it.
Woo.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Thank you again, Dee, for joining us for episode 2 of the Pulsate Podcast. I hope all of our viewers get something out of Dee coming on and talking about what she does and giving us some hot nutrition tips while we're at home. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel so you can get a notification for next week. We will have Ash from Northeast Float in Motion joining us to discuss everything to do with recovery, injury prevention and maintenance for our dancers.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next week where we will be bored together. Bye.
Armpit.
Cool.
Bored.